Good morning. Got a hot one for you today as we're transitioning from spring into summer, starting to really warm up in this space. And I hope that warmth and that vibrant sunshine is able to invigorate us, bring us to our day with a little bit of action and intensity, and keep our muscles and bodies warm and flexible as well. Let us be a little juicy. Today we're going to explore waves. Whatever those may be to you, whether it's the waves you see when you imagine or stare out across ocean or a river or a lake, or it's cosmic in the waves of radiation passing between us all, or magnetic, or any other type of oscillating action that we can begin to connect with through the rhythms of our body and reflect on the page in front of us. So join me in this journey. Grab your favorite pen or pencil, a nice piece of paper or sketchbook, and let's take some time to open our minds and unwind, do some drawing. Thought we might use the warm-up just to do a little pulsing and oscillation in and out to get warmed up in that idea of things that happen in frequencies, and just starting to move the pen, the pencil back and forth across the page at a relatively even clip. Have this more abstract representation of some kind of wave happening just in the space of the page, and going back and forth over itself as we begin to align and connect between our hand and our eye and our body. Paying attention here a bit to tracking the previous undulations of this waveform, seeing how my eye can quickly or smoothly or maybe slowly and deliberately track along those curves to become more connected with those movements that guide this drawing implement, tracing back over the flow. Warming our senses and focusing in on the piece of paper. And bringing my eyes to the tip of the pencil, keeping them just slightly off focus so that they can pick up the incoming curve and track the tip along the existing curve. Tighten up my beginning. Begin to allow the attention and focus to choose its path within the wobbles. And now that I've worked a lot in this one direction, should be getting pretty connected with my arm and my hand and feeling its flow. I can begin to track in another direction across the wave. And that may mean using another hand or simply starting anywhere and working towards the opposite direction of flow. Getting our fingers warmed up to work in multiple directions so we can be responsive and adaptable as we're drawing. And also to see where we can bring focus and attention to our movements as changing their orientation changes how our body connects and brings more things into alignment. And I think after this coming tracking along the form, my hands feeling pretty smooth and warmed up. Hopefully yours are too. And maybe you can begin to transition to another sheet of paper to really extract from this idea of what waves might be for us. Taking a deep breath in, and letting it out at an even pace a few times. And connecting with that oscillation. That constant metronome that keeps track of our pace and time during the day. That is our breath. And that may be something you can connect to in the drawing. For me, I have an image of being near the water. The ocean and East River here is strong today. There's a smell of the sea and the salt coming in through the window. And it just brings that to mind as I begin to place a pen and track the kind of swoops and scallops, arcs of the waveform across the page. And at first, just letting my hand guide me once it's established a rhythm of the drawing to repeat and let my eyes slowly get into it as they track along with the pen. And my breath get into it. Starting to have that adjust my rhythm. Do I slow down and breathe in on a stroke, breathe out on a stroke. Once my hand has developed the sensation to begin repeating the wave with the breath, I close my eyes and trust the ins and outs, the ups and downs, to just repeat. And maybe I reach the end of the page and bring my arm back and reset without opening my eyes. If it helps to reposition, just feel free to look. I want to connect internally in my mind to what I might remember and simulate of this landscape of waves, this wavescape, whether it's a real image or something more abstract. The waves of gravity or electromagnetic forces undulating around us as we're connected and surrounded by all of these electronic devices humming at their own tune. Some frequencies we can hear and engage with, others are outside of our scope of senses in our conscious awareness and are picked up in our cells. The earth has its own resonating frequencies that we have grown up with. As beings and as organic entities have evolved with for millions of years to respond to those frequencies. And as we allow the repetition of the drawing of a wave to pull some of our attention into that action, to kind of quiet and soften the tones around us with that attention, maybe we can listen in to those waves of the earth, the waves of the sun glancing off of our ozone. And being aware of what that deeper listening brings to the rhythm and flow of our hand and our pen. For me, I feel it really slowing down, allowing me to more easily connect the ins and outs with my breath to these arc forms that I'm creating across the page. Or perhaps for you, you feel things oscillating at a faster frequency, the image in the mind on a windy day on the edge of the river. There's many overlapping scallops, crests and falls, ebbs and flows collide to make a complex fractal pattern to absorb our attention and to let that story that we've carried in our mind, in our memory, and in our imagination flow out through our arm, into our fingers, through this pen, onto this paper. Sometimes that story flows fast, it's exciting, it's complex. And we can align our own rhythms to that speed. When we start to engage more of the body, and detach the breath from the action for a while. So that we can bring some attention back to the overlapping rhythms here. To be breathing on a 2 or a 3 count. Are there connections in our patterns? Right now, for me, this speed, I have about a 3 count in and a 3 count out. And similar to a breath counting meditation, you start to narrow in on a consistency of rhythm to bring all these elements into some alignment. So breathe in with 3 strokes. Breathe out with 3 strokes. In with 3 strokes. Out with 3 strokes. And just letting that pen flow across the page. If your arm begins to get tired, it might be a good time to switch hands and see what happens, or work in another direction to adjust and make sure the body is in a comfortable state with all of this repetition I think I'll just bring the wind back across the page with some slow breaths. If your eyes have been closed, it might be interesting to open them up and see what has developed in convergences of the rhythms. Bring back the attention and look at those waves. And see as we enter the reintegration phase what we might find within the space of what we've drawn. Bring a few more quick bodily repetitions to it. Are there places of interface that have emerged to draw further into? Okay. Take a breath and realign my spine and use this disconnecting and reconnecting to find some new connections between these waveforms and begin to just draw into the space here. Thickening some lines, merging some overlaps, bridging discontinuities as we allow some trajectories to express themselves from the page through the pen, through our eye. How do we get back into the game a little bit and read the space of the drawing we've created? Always very grateful for the complexity and diversity that are great simulation engines that our brains can pull together in such a short amount of time by coupling action and senses with memories and imagination to create something that's always a new, unique experience with recognizable hints and unexpected emergence. And if the drawing began with a gentle idea of waves and the ways they flow and connect to our lives, I like to now look and question, where have those gone? What have they started to inform or express visually as a drawing, maybe not so much internally? What do I see now on this page? It wasn't part of my day half an hour ago. These transient intensifications, anticipations, the ebbs and flows of our attention, our imagination. Just take a few minutes here and just draw with our attention on the page. And alas, so often I wish I could just stay here all day in this space to keep exploring, but other activities and responsibilities call as well. So hopefully this has gotten us warmed up to have a lot of fun in those other activities, and maybe you have some time to continue. Thank you for joining on this journey. I really appreciate anyone who watches along later on or comes to the live event in our Zoom meeting. During this summer, we'll be switching days to Tuesday mornings, and I'll incorporate some live streaming here on YouTube, as well as continue to record and post them up later in the day. So that if you've been watching these and enjoy the content, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll draw together next time. Have a wonderful day.